What's up?
Send me a number.
419127's her number.
Text it to me.
Okay. Hey, right, listen. Where did psychosocial come from?
Psychosocial.
Psychosocial rehabilitation. Where did it come from?
Who knows?
Right, and what happened?
ACC.
Right, what's happening over that agreement thing? What do I do with it?
Which agreement thing?
Hey?
Which agreement?
The agreement that went to review. The agreement.
Nothing. Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
Did you see the decision?
No, I didn't.
I'll look up the decision. I'll send it to you.
Well, what's the decision do? Prevent you from going to appeal as well?
No, no. You just left the door open to negotiate a rehabilitation plan. It's just where she left it.
She left the door open to negotiate a rehabilitation plan and they've done nothing.
Yeah.
So what does that do? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, so they've left the door open for a rehabilitation plan and they haven't come to me at all and I've asked for a meeting.
No.
So where does that leave us?
Probably with the upper hand.
Say that again?
With the upper hand.
I've got the upper hand.
Yeah.
How do I have the upper hand?
Well, they've got a job to do and they're not doing it.
Dave, they're letting everything go to a legal argument all the time. Because if they open the door up, they know they're going to be asked 1,000,001 questions. They know they've got PTSD to address. They know they have an agreement that they breached and they can't argue that they breached it. They can't argue that Abacus were not an experienced third party because they weren't. They can't argue that they addressed the Peter Brown issue and the multidisciplinary team that McGreevy lied about, which was never ever addressed. The Ombudsman tried to cover that up, yes?
Yeah.
So, you know, they've got all those issues, but they've got a mountain and other issues as well. You know, they're doing nothing. So, and they know that they carried out gaslighting in my case from start to finish. And they're continuing to carry out gaslighting in my case. They told the GP, we just want to pay him, and for her to do nothing, which is why she did nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, if you tell a GP to do nothing, it means you're controlling it all, yes? You going to talk to me or not?
It's up to the GP to take it on board.
It's up to the GP to what?
It's up to the GP to decide whether they listen to them or not.
Yeah, I know, but she took the easy way out. That's the type of person she is. She always takes the easy way out and then tries to lay the onus back on the patient or the victim. You know, she doesn't take the upper hand. She does everything that's easy work for her. You know, that's the type of GP she is. You know, I mean, they say she gave me a blood pressure test the last time I was there. That's the first time she gave me a blood pressure test in 10 years. I nearly fell over. You know, with laughter actually, at how ridiculous she was being, you know. So anyway, so it'll be interesting. How do I end up now taking her to the medical board anyway? Because there's enough evidence on the tapes to prove she's done nothing with PTSD.
Yeah.
And that's negligence. You understand me?
Yeah.
Right, so she can argue with the board that she's not negligent, but the board's going to find that she is negligent. You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's impossible. They're not going to blame somebody else. They're going to tell her off as well for expecting you to do it all for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did she ever come to you and give you any recommendations? No?
No. Recommendations for what?
Well, if you had to watch the video, you would have seen I have some recommendations I can make. But she never ever did. You understand me?
Yeah.
Every time I spoke to her on the tape, she goes, "Well, I thought your advocate was dealing with it. I thought your lawyer was dealing with it." You know what I mean? So, by the way, how can you breach? What is it? Trust when there is no trust. And I've said that on every tape. There's no trust left. Did you watch it or no?
No. Not that part.
I took out all the shite. I took out anything that would damn you down the line, you know. I took out a lot of stuff that you discussed with her that is nobody's business really. That's between you and her, you know. Because it would have stuffed up your argument at review, or the argument that you had at review. You understand that?
Sure.
So I took all that out. Thank you, Michael. Very kind of you. I only left in the part of the declared act of war and me going through it with you. Really? That's really all it really amounts to.
Now, if you have an accident,
What?
and then if you have an accident, you go for treatment, and the medical practitioner makes it worse,
Yeah.
then that's another claim.
So what do we do then?
And so, if the PTSD can be pointed to your treatment by medical professionals, see, if the PTSD is caused by ACC, then you got no claim. But if the PTSD is caused by medical professionals that ACC referred you to, then you've got a claim.
But the PTSD was caused by police and the violence and the gaslighting, and the doctors played their part in that. They all played their part in that. So, and no one, even Ailsa Duffy, should have been documenting the fact that this was gaslighting. You know what I mean? But she didn't. She didn't do it because she knew it was a criminal act. You understand me? And because she knows they all do it. They all do it. Every one of them. That would explain Mike Heron's actions at court. That was gaslighting. You know? You better watch your back, sunshine. And all his antics as well. That's gaslighting. Even the judges, they're gaslighting all the time too with their statements and comments, you know? Threats and intimidation. So, anyway, I'm not going to go on and see her today. Are you going to ring her?
Yeah.
Right. So you ring her and see where we go from there. And you tell her I've asked Michael not to go in there today until I've spoken to you. And then I'm sure that he will come and meet up at some point. He wants to come in and get some stuff in that. But I'm sure he'll be in at some point. That's all you have to say. Yes? And that way then it makes you just say he won't be in today because I've advised him to take some time to think on how he wants to work this. But I don't know. I mean, why did she call you anyway? That's what I don't understand.
Well, I guess they wanted to make sure, use me to make sure that he understood the fact that they wouldn't be seeing you.
What, they wouldn't be seeing me? Oh, well, they're going to see me at some point. It's just not going to be today.
She said, you know, if you need a prescription, she said something about they've got 1 month that they're obliged to carry you in terms of, you know, providing you with emergency care or providing prescriptions. But 1 month is considered a reasonable time to get another GP.
Well, that's all right. I can go in and use one of the other GPs and see what happens. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, they said that you won't have access to any of their GPs.
What did she say? She said that I won't get any access to... But she can't do that. That's criminal.
Well, I don't know what they can do,
But my arguments with her...
Basically, the practice is closed to you.
Her practice is closed to me.
Yeah.
So she's closed in...
Practice.
So literally, she's carrying out gaslighting, yeah?
Well, she doesn't want to see you.
Well, she doesn't have to see me.
I'll talk to her and, yeah, we'll see.
Right. Well, do yourself a favour. Tape record it for me. Put her on speakerphone. Put her on speakerphone and tape record it.
Yeah.
Because she will... I wouldn't trust her, Dave. I really wouldn't trust her. You know? There's just a lot of things that you wouldn't trust her with. It's not that. I just got shocked that when I challenged her over, are you going to address my PTSD or not? She was just completely looking at the screen, just ignoring me, you know? I said it to her 3 times. Are you going to address my PTSD or not? Are you going to address my PTSD or not? It's on the videotape.
Yeah.
Well, she looks like a bloody fool. You understand me? If someone's sitting there watching that, Dave, and listening to it, there's enough grounds there to have her wiped off as a GP. You understand me?
Yeah.
There's enough grounds there to have her wiped off as a GP. So, I don't know. So, you're going to ring her and talk to her?
Yes, I can.
Well, what are you going to say to her?
I'll just tell her that you'd like to, you know, discuss the situation with her.
Yeah, and she's going to say no.
That's fine, at least you know.
Well, if she says no, you say, well, you'll end up on the medical board with him. Do you understand that? Because that's where he's going to take it to, and he's not going to stop until he takes it there. He doesn't want to put your back up any more than it's already been put up, but at the same time, he's not going to let you gaslight him either. Do you know what I mean? So he'll just take you in front of the medical board with the videos showing that you haven't done your job. But you'll probably put it in a more polite way than that, yes?
Yeah.
Or you won't mention it.
Dunno.
Well, what do you think? Do you think you should mention it or no?
No, I don't think it needs to be mentioned.
So, anyway, she's caused a lot of aggravation. She'll probably send me a bill as well. You know, that'll be good crack too. Anyway, right, I'll let you talk to her and then you can get back to me, yeah? The other thing was, hold on. There was, if they are supposed to negotiate a rehabilitation plan with me, where is it? I mean, you say we're talking 5 months now, Dave.
Yeah.
Right, so why am I not getting a meeting? Ask the GP, has ACC responded to the meeting? Oh, here's the other part, right? I got a copy of my medical certificate from her last time.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the medical certificate it says, I have examined this patient, blah, 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 blah. All my videotapes prove she's never examined me, Dave.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't make her look too shit hot either, does it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, anyway,
She
ACC...
only has to do it once a year.
It doesn't matter. The point is that she still doesn't do it. Before that, she was having to do it every 3 months.
Yeah.
She did it every 3 months for about 5 years, 6 years. So, anyway. Oh, what's happening with the tax that I'm owed as well? Because even though ACC paid it to Inland Revenue and ignored the fact they're all complicit in the crime, I'm still that amount of money out of pocket because of ACC's actions. So there must be a liability there somewhere that ACC should be footing and paying that extra tax. It shouldn't be left with the victim, because they had actually acted illegally and unlawfully with criminal intent. Yes?
So you're talking extra tax on the back payment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's going to happen with that? Dave, you're talking over $30,000. Then you're talking 5 years of interest on top of that. So what's going to happen with that? You see, ACC is going to be asked about it, regardless. So there still has to be a liability with ACC, because they chose to pay it to Inland Revenue and not pay it to me, when they were instructed by me to only pay the normal tax rate. You understand?
Yeah.
So they took it upon themselves to deny me that argument with Inland Revenue over the payment. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So they acted for their own best interests, and they didn't give a shit how much they were defrauding me of. Correct?
Yeah, no, they'll just say that they followed.
That's not the point. The point is that they knew that I was being charged 14% extra tax, but they knew that before they ever suspended my rights and entitlements. All the judges kept throwing this case out because they intended to defraud me as much as they could. That's why they kept throwing the case out. That's why they kept using the privacy to hold me criminally, to blackmail and ransom. That was just another part of their gaslighting. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
How many times did ACC stop my rights and entitlements, rehabilitation, medical and treatment needs? 6, 7?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, 6 or 7, maybe 8, I don't know. And every time they made a deal with you to reinstate them under their terms and their conditions, yes?
Yeah.
And never go to review or appeal because they knew they wouldn't win. So they knew they were acting illegally and unlawfully because I was never non-compliant in the first place. This is another part of McGreevy's gaslighting. You know, that's why it was all very important that it all should have been written up properly. So I don't know where I go from here. All I can say is that I'm at the end of my fucking road. You know? I'm at the end of my road with it all, Dave. I know for a fact I'm never going to trust a doctor in this country, and I know for a fact I'm never going to be rehabilitated in this country. And I know for a fact that the government's quite happy and ACC's quite happy to have it turned into a slave trade action. Because if you add it all up, these people are taking your life backward, not forward. The longer they stuff up, the more profit they make, and the more it costs you. And so why is no one ever addressing that issue? Why does everybody ignore these facts and this evidence? Because the government should be raising your money in accordance with what you're going to be paid in a job or they should be compensating you for not rehabilitating you to that extent. So their agreement, they can't throw it out the window. I wrote to the Justice Minister, Andrew Little, and I asked him, I says, is ACC's agreements legally binding or are they not? Never got a response. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't get a response today because he has to say yes, right? And if he says no, then the agreement doesn't. I mean, if you actually think about it, it's the government who needs to come up with agreements, not ACC, because ACC can't contract out of legislation or law. Jan White's little statements: ACC can never be involved in the management of your claim again. I'm not a lawyer. I don't look at the whole aspects of it, but if you actually think about it, just because she's saying ACC can't be involved in the management of your claim, ACC states ACC cannot contract out of legislation. You understand?
Yeah, that's right.
So there is where the gaslighting comes into it. There's where the chicanery comes into it and the deception comes into it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, right. Hold on. They said they were treating me as a normal claimant now.
Yeah.
Well, how am I being treated as a normal claimant? I can't even get a fucking rehabilitation plan.
Yeah, that's right.
So how do I manage that?
It's simple enough. I'll just ask them for a rehabilitation plan.
No. I want to negotiate a rehabilitation plan. I want to sit down and ask them questions in relation to the rehabilitation plan. I want to know them. I want to know what psychosocial means and which actual injury it relates to. I want to know who came up with the term psychosocial. I want to know why I have not had a rehabilitation plan in place for the last, 13 years?
Yeah.
At least. Now, they claimed at review they had a rehabilitation plan. They don't have a rehabilitation plan. They've got a load of shite written up that hasn't been agreed with me or discussed with me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got to go.
Okay.
Cool.